Good afternoon, and welcome to Everybody, the podcast which shares stories that highlight people in life, that make the world an interesting place, which ultimately ties us all together in unique and wonderful ways. And who am I, you might ask? I would be the head wrap socialite, wife, mom, micro-influencer in the fashion and etiquette world. But on this podcast, I will be introducing you to some people who I've had the opportunity to meet along my journey, who have helped enrich me in my life in beautiful ways, and who I hope will do the same in yours.
People are educated, they have confidence. We could all be confident people. We could have 100% confidence in our country. We could be citizens of the world and all be confident.
Right.
No one has to be at the bottom.
That's it. You and I spoke about, it's surrounding yourself and knowing that in this world, there's beauty and diversity.
There is so much.
Let's embrace it and let's bring everybody along. In the perfect world, everybody should have a slice of the pie.
Right. But with the diversity, I think I'll admit this.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think, I hope, and I said this to you,
Yeah.
I hope I didn't offend you at all with my book. Because I said, sometimes when you say your situation, you think, gosh, I hope that doesn't offend anyone, and in my book, I didn't think that because my audience, I was thinking, one, during the time I was, which was a couple of years ago. And I think sometimes if people offend you, maybe you should politely address it because as humans, we have an obligation to educate people.
That's it.
And so to politely explain, Juneteenth, that was just this week, it's so upsetting to me. In Texas, they didn't even tell people for 2 years. I think it's particularly good that people are learning that.
Like you said, it goes back to the whole education piece. The more we educate ourselves and look at the whys, where do we go from here? How did we get here? I think it opens us up to thinking more about life and what things we can do to improve. Because a lot of times I find that I go back to when I was in elementary school, middle school, and I remember being taught that George Washington's teeth, they were wooden, right? So that's what I went with because I didn't research it. The teachers told you that, you believed them, and you just moved on. It wasn't until, and I'm not ashamed to say this, it wasn't until probably 10 years ago where one of my sons came home and we were talking about George Washington's teeth. And of course, I'm washing the dishes, doing stuff and put it in the dishwasher. And I said, yeah, they're wooden teeth. And they were like, what? And they looked at me like, are you insane? And I said, yeah, they're wooden teeth. And they said, Mom, they were the teeth of slaves.
Oh, gosh, Trina, I never even knew that. They took the teeth out of the slaves.
But again, it's to make history more palatable.
Right.
But if we don't challenge it, we never knew. I never knew.
I never knew that.
I never knew that. I was taught they were wooden teeth.
Yeah, that's interesting. So someone at some point made up that lie.
Yes.
So that it would make other people happy. But think of the gentleman whose teeth were taken. I mean, you just can't believe how bad that would be to be a person having your teeth ripped out of your mouth to give to someone else. Where did your children learn that?
They learned it in school.
That says something for their school. Education provided that.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So I think we just have to keep allowing our educators to teach, but also let the children explore. As teachers, we have to, right? Teachers, even being parents, letting our children have full range of the information, right?
Right.
Instead of hiding some things because they are not palatable. That doesn't make it right.
It's a very difficult thing. I think of the book, The Color Purple.
Oh, yes.
Which the language is a bit rough. I'm glad my children read it because you know what? I feel it had a story that needed to be told. I feel the story was appropriately told in that voice. And I feel it made them uncomfortable. It's okay. So much of life, if you feel a little uncomfortable, maybe you're learning something.
It's in that discomfort that we grow.
That we do. And sometimes it's really sad. I think it's easier to just walk the other direction and think quietly, gosh, I don't think they really know. I don't know. But it takes a bigger person to explain something. Or like me with the teeth, my imperfect knowledge, like all human beings, it's good to learn something.
You can learn something every day, right? And I'm glad that I didn't just turn the other way when my kids were telling me this.
Right.
They were like, no, Mom, you have to listen to this.
Right.
Oh,
but that kind of does make sense.
You
think if you had these wooden teeth.
Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, it would be,
it would be a bit uncomfortable.
Right. Wood is porous. A different person's teeth would not be. I think I have confidence in America and the world that we will all become more involved with one another in a pleasant way.
I have hope, but I know in that hope, I have to be a realist. And I have to say, it did take us so long to get to this point that it's probably going to take us 50 years until it all works itself out, where the people who promote racism and until those people have transitioned.
I think it's important to venture off. I think sometimes people are afraid. I don't know. That's the old standby excuse, which I'm not really big on it, but I think that sometimes they are afraid of things they've not experienced themselves.
I agree with you with that, but I also think that the more afraid each person can be of the other person, it allows fear to grow and for people to stay separated.
To be the change. We have to be the change. So someone needs to make the bridges.
Yeah.
In a sense, I feel I've created these 4 children that I feel are very open to all. And no one's married yet. So we don't know. I think that, as long as it's more than just my husband and I. We're being replaced. We're multiplying in a more accepting manner. So, I hope that we will all stay with that. But it takes an effort.
Yeah. It's you, it's me, it's the community to be conscious of the decisions and the choices that we make to lead the world a much better place.
Right. And not just the event. Not just to attend whatever.
No, because then everybody can say we attended an event.
And that's not really what it's about.
Right. It's like do something
It's like
to change.
Going to class and not doing the homework. So let's do our homework.
Let's do our homework. I'm with you.